With the NFL draft just days away, fans are trying to think of all the possibilities that could be had at that number 11 pick. A lot of us want left tackle, but what is the backup plan if that falls through? Welcome to Jets Talk. My name's Ryan. I'll be your pilot today. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. If you've been here before, welcome back. I love having you here. Thursday night, 7 o'clock, we are going live right here on Jets Talk 24/7 for our Jets draft party. It's going to be me, Green Bean, O'Leary, and Gangrene David. We're going to give you all our hot takes on everything going on draft-wise, and we're going to answer your phone calls, as well as give away a few prizes and gifts throughout the course of the night. So make sure you tune into that. I'll leave a link to that in the description down below. So let's get into the video, and let's discuss the backup plan for the New York Jets if they decide to not take a tackle at that number 11 pick. And I think all of us have probably seen this chart before in relation to, almost anything. There's good, there's fast, and there's cheap. You really can't get anything in the middle, so you got to pick two of the three. I'm going to adjust this graph. We're going to look at age, cost, and grade to kind of figure out where these potential options could lead us. I have three guys in mind, and they all sort of hit different parts of this chart. So let's look into everything right here. The first player on my list that I want to talk about is Kelvin Beecham. So let's look at these three areas of concern. Age-wise, he's going to be 31 years old at the start of the season. That's pretty good. That's the youngest on this list. Pro Football Focus grades over the last 3 years, 69.3, 68.1, and 67.1. So a slight downward trend, but really overall, you know what you're getting from him. You're getting roughly below 70, high 60s from Kelvin Beecham. So cost-wise, I think he's going to be pretty cheap. I think he'll be the cheapest option of the bunch here. Not too bad. If you want to keep some of the consistency on the offensive line, someone that knows the playbook in a potentially shorter NFL season with this whole virus thing going on, Beecham might be the option you kind of want to look at. The next player on my list is going to be Jason Peters from the Philadelphia Eagles. Obviously, with Joe Douglas coming from the Eagles organization, there's a little bit of a connection there. He's 38 years old, so he is the oldest player of this list of three. His Pro Football Focus grades over the last 3 years have been 84.2, 70.9, and 83.4. Cost-wise, he's going to be a little bit cheaper just because of the age. I think you're going to have to sign him to a one-year prove-it deal. He did play really well last year, so he's probably the middle tier in terms of cost as far as these players go. But for a one-year stopgap, some guy that has just played last year at a top 10 caliber left tackle level, I like Jason Peters. This is probably my number one option in terms of players that could be available to the Jets after that 11th pick. The last player on my list is going to be Trent Williams, and this is a big wild card here. We've heard his name kind of tossed around in trade talks over the course of the last season. Obviously, he's disgruntled with the Washington Redskins, and the New York Jets have a need at left tackle, so this could be a potential fit. Age-wise, 32 years old, so he's just a year older than Beecham, so pretty good in terms of age. You could still get another 4 or 5 years out of this guy. Grade-wise, over the last 3 years, now keep in mind, these are the last 3 years that he played. He did sit out last year, so I don't have a 2019 grade on him. But the last 3 years he did play, 92.7, 82.6, and 75.6. So he's starting to trend downward. Not real good. That could be a product of the Redskins being bad and not having Alex Smith and these sorts of issues that could come up into the grading system that you may not necessarily factor in. Cost-wise, this is going to be the issue. He is very expensive. He wants to be paid as one of the top left tackles in the league, but did not play last year. He hasn't played a full season, a full 16-game calendar season since 2013. So the guy hasn't really been healthy. He's played in 15 games, I think, in 2015. So you sort of have like a little bit of, you have health concerns there. You don't know if he's going to be able to stay healthy for the full duration of the season. And he also just had cancer. The guy had cancer and he sat out for an entire year. Do I think these three grades are going to get better after having cancer and sitting a year out? Probably not, but the guy has been a Pro Bowl left tackle for, I think it's like 7 or 8 years or something like that. So it's going to cost you in draft compensation, and it's going to cost you in money. This is an area that I think is a very high upside. You could get an elite left tackle at a young age for maybe a third-round pick, but the cost could be that you have to pay him a big contract. So overall, when I look at all these options and I try to consider who I would want the Jets to get as far as their fallback plans, I'd say Jason Peters is number one on my list. I think that's the safest pick for a one-year stopgap. My option 2 would be Trent Williams. I think the cost, if you could factor in an incentive-laden deal, like if he plays like a top left tackle, he gets paid like a top left tackle, I don't have a problem with that. I just don't want to devote $18 million to a guy who's sort of been injury-prone and has, I don't want to say declined, but has not played as good as he could have over the last few years. And not to mention, the Jets have had their own issues with the health facility and everything that's been going on with Osemele and Enunwa. So there's kind of some logistical pieces that are a little confusing here. I would love if Trent Williams went to the Browns at number 10, because then that means a left tackle falls to the Jets at number 11. That would be kind of my hope there. My third option is going to be Beecham, and I think the reason I'm picking Beecham as my third is more so because I like the upside of Trent Williams. I think the upside to gamble on Trent Williams, like I think his worst case scenario with Trent Williams is probably the ceiling of Beecham, if that makes sense. Granted, you might be able to have Beecham for a full 16-game schedule, where Trent Williams, you might not be able to get that out of. Guys, let me know where you would rank these guys. Which one is your option 1, 2, and 3? Let me know what you think down below in the comments. And as always, go Jets.